I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're Odyssey. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Spy Family, Season 2, Episode 3. I had a lot of fun last episode.
Me too. It was happy. It was good. We got to focus on two beloved characters.
I think we're going to focus back on Anya Lloyd or Yor this episode. They don't want to continue making me happy by giving me a Henry Henderson Day in a Life episode. A Henry Henderson Beach episode.
How dare they not give us that?
Right?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, that was Spy Family, Season 2, Episode 3. Interesting episode. It flew by for me. It was, but I'm in this spot with Spy Family that I've been in a couple times where it's like, I could see how things that are happening and themes that were being given could take this story in a very different and more like serious and having things really change direction. But that's not what we've gotten from the show or getting from the show. That I just don't I don't know what to expect going forward.
They've given us what is surface level, a just like soft, enjoyable, kind of cozy family dynamic, fun,
makes me happy,
hijinks. But then we have to keep reminding ourselves, not only we have to remind ourselves, but the show just subtly or every once in a while reminds us of the actual like situation that came to build this story and the family dynamic and why we're actually here. And it's not for hijinks and fun. It's actually very serious.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to play with that idea of like, Anya's really our main character for the most part. And through a child's eyes, world issues are going to be like little things that fleet into your mind every once in a while when you hear the adults talk about it or when she reads Lloyd's mind or Yor's mind.
Yeah.
And for the most part, she's like, yeah, I'm going to help Papa save the world. But the actual gravity of what that means and the actual work that like Lloyd and Yor and Yuri are doing and the severity of like what could go wrong if Lloyd got caught or Yuri like had actually starts going after Twilight more heavily.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really fun to play with that kind of thing. If anything, I think that it will make any inevitable severity that they go for later on be that much more terrifying to us, because what they've created is a cozy and safe household for this child, Anya, and for us, the viewer. That you wouldn't
want to be disrupted.
That we don't want to be destroyed. And I think that's a very effective choice for the story that they're trying to tell. That we want of protecting your family and not wanting to make them sad, that they've created this place where we want to watch the show and we want to feel happy and warm and laugh. But any notice, things could just blow up.
I know. It's just like if and when is so hard to think about because like my brain doesn't want to think it's ever going to happen.
It's totally unpredictable.
While wanting it to kind of happen. And thinking of things that could happen because of it, like choices Yuri could make, you know.
I think how they keep it unpredictable is that it's never heavy, like mentioned. It's here and there, but it's always spaced out to a good degree, in my opinion, of like how much we go toward the severity or toward the actual idea of like the imploding of the family for whatever reason. That it's spaced out so kind of purposefully that you never settle on it too long to then think that it's foreshadowing that it's gonna the end will happen soon or some big dynamic issue. Like coming out of this episode, I don't even feel like Yuri and Lloyd and the Twilight situation is going to happen in the next 5 episodes. You know, I don't feel like that is so heavily foreshadowed to the point where it's like immediacy is there.
Yeah.
It feels like it's just a reminder that that's what Yuri is currently going to be working on, which we've already had an inkling of since season 1, that was going to be some conflict that might happen in the future.
But like when you're like, okay, I don't see it happening in 5 episodes. I have trouble seeing it happening next season, 2 seasons from now, you know? And I think that that's the nature that they've set up for me of how unpredictable it is. And it's also like, what would Yuri do? Like, in terms of he doesn't want to do anything to hurt his family. I know that, like, his family is Yor, and that's what we're being reminded of so much. But in terms of hurting his family, like what would hurt Yor? Anything to do with affecting her family negatively. So what would Yuri's inevitable decision be?
We've been wondering since season 1, like, I think we both were on the same page with if finding out, what getting rid of Twilight would actually do to Yor would be something that Yuri would possibly have issue with or would go against, because his motivator is Yor. And if anything, maybe we should look back to him crumpling up that paper is more of a projection on his end.
Yeah.
Because he is labeled as a dog in this episode of doing whatever the government tells him to do. And when he crumples up that piece of paper that says that this person's being motivated with love and care and wanting to protect their family, he doesn't want to think about himself as those ideals for himself or those goals not lining up.
Yeah.
He wants to feel right now with the security that caring for my sister and caring for my country match up. And he doesn't want to think about the possibility that this man was in, that those didn't match up for him.
Mm-hmm.
He needed money. He feels like the government failed his mom, but his mom would still be alive. Those didn't match up for him. And I think Yuri is probably very terrified by that possibility.
It's complicated because it's like, okay, the thought of him doing this for his family to make them happy, that's effective to Yuri in terms of like relatability, because like he cares so much for his family, but it's the lack of thinking it through, right? This guy, like, he didn't think about how doing this could potentially get him caught in jail and then the repercussion of affecting his family negatively.
If anything, if we think about that guy, it was probably both protecting his family but also selfish. Because what he was doing there, he was going against what his dad wanted him to do in order to get money. His dad didn't want him to be doing anything that would rip him out of the household and separate them. His dad would probably rather have limited food in the house and be suffering to pay the rent or be living on the street as long as his son was with him.
Yeah.
And we also have this character, like, very much expressing that he holds a lot of anger about what happened to his mom and a lot of anger toward his government.
Yeah.
And so him selling these articles, yes, it's a way to get extra money. It seemed like he had a job. We saw him go to the job. Jobs don't always give you enough money to be able to pay for the necessities you need. We all know that. But he was so angry in that scene that you can't help but wonder if there was also a selfish reason that he was writing these articles or trying to paint the government in a bad light because he was angry with it.
The line that we got was like, "What is it so bad wanting a better country for your family to live in?" And like, I believe that was like his motivator for doing these things. I think they can be in tandem. And yeah, I agree. But like, that's what like, you're under the perception, or you feel very really, that the only way to make change is to take these exact steps, whether that might be true or not. Those steps result in consequences that affect your family.
Yeah, it's very interesting that, because it's also a conflict of like immediacy and proximity.
Yeah.
Like in the same argument of like his father would have been fine as long as both of them were alive and together, but to him he wanted better.
Mm-hmm. He
didn't want them to ever be suffering. And so the priorities there and the scaling of that was indifference.
The father was also using very like specific language that I want to see when he came in to talk to him. Like, didn't he say something along the lines of like, hold on, you better not be doing any dangerous work again, but then if you didn't have your odd sense of justice, like the dad,
he feels like something's owed to his family.
Yeah, but the dad was like we can figure something else out. There's another way to,
Mm-hmm. The priorities are a little different.
Yeah.
His priority is the justice for what he believed has been done to his family or not been helped with for his family. And his dad's priority is that he is happy, healthy, and safe and not being arrested. I think that it's really great, this focusing in on reminding us that our characters, if their identities were actually said out loud, there's definitely conflict there. They would be at odds. They are on different teams, if you will. They would be possibly against each other and might in the future be against each other at some point.
I think that I think his name is Franklin Perkin, went about getting his story is a good representation of the means of how he's trying to make money. I think that you can look at how he visibly affected in a very unnecessary, toxic way these kids to finish the job that he was trying to get done. And like, you didn't, okay, throw the gun, throw the fake gun, throw the toy gun in the trash, get your picture and leave, right? You don't have to stay and then talk to them the way that you did. Or even, okay, give them $1 to go act like they're digging in trash. Like there are more positive means of meeting the same goal, and I think that's a good thematic representation of the theme that was trying to be highlighted there.
I wonder if his choice of dialogue to the kids afterward, he didn't need to say anything more to them, but I wonder if that was another parallel or example with Yuri, that both of them project possibly a little bit in this episode onto others. Yuri specifically for Perkin.
I want Anya to dress up as Yor, and then Yuri to see it, and then forever love Anya.
I think he would think it was disrespectful to his sister's image. Like she spat on his sister's image.
You could never,
You could never be as beautiful as
that
my
could be very
sister.
true. Bondman is ladies' man.
Bondman is, honestly, to be honest, Bondman is gross.
You don't like Bondman?
After this episode, I was a fan of Bondman. I liked that Bondman reminded Anya of her father, but her father would never. Lloyd would never.
I am glad. I love Bondman solely for the reason that he is giving Anya the maturity and knowledge that is needed to be able to become adult and have these conversations with Becky. I think that Becky will now, through these conversations, understand love to such a degree that she can use it to try to impress Lloyd.
Yes, that, and I also think that this helps with the mission. The closer we stay to Becky, the better. So we need to make sure that Becky knows that we are also mature and care about love and relationships.
Yeah.
So then Becky always wants to be friends with us because we can talk about that kind of stuff. You think my dad's hot? Cool. I haven't met your dad yet. I guess I might think he said that.
All right, that's all I have you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.